Welcome students to the biology class. In chapter 6 tissues, we have covered up till simple plant tissues on last Thursday, in which you studied about parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Now today we will do remaining part of plant tissues, that is the protective tissue, which is epidermis, and complex permanent tissues. So here we start. Let's discuss the activity 6.3 given in your book, in which you have to take a fresh rohio leaf and then stretch it and break it so that some skin or peel projects out. Now remove this peel and put it in the petri dish containing water. In the second petri dish, add few drops of safranin and then transfer the peel into that. Wait for a minute and then transfer it onto a slide. Put a drop of glycerin and then put the cover slip onto that. Then watch it under microscope. Then what you are going to observe? You are going to observe the epidermis with stomata. Now we will look into what is epidermis. Epidermis is the outermost layer of cells which is made up of continuous layer of flat cells without intercellular spaces. So we can say that they are intact cells. Another characteristic feature of epidermis is that it is single layered usually in most of the plants, but in very dry habitats plants have multi-layered epidermis so as to avoid water loss. The entire surface of a plant has this outer covering of epidermis. Next, we move on to functions of epidermis. Major function of epidermis is protection. That's why we call it as protective tissue. It helps in protection against water loss, mechanical injuries due to weather related events and invasion by parasitic fungi through the secretion of waxy water resistant layer called as cuticle. Secondly, in leaves, it helps in exchange of gases through stomata. These are small pores here and there in the epidermis of the leaf. Stomata are enclosed by two kidney-shaped cells called guard cells. In addition to exchange of gases, transpiration also takes place through stomata. Function of epidermal cells of the root is water absorption, as they bear long hair like structure, also called root hairs, that greatly increase total absorptive surface area. Now in your book it has been asked that is the outer layer of a branch of a tree different from the outer layer of a young stem? So the answer is yes. The two are different because the epidermis is replaced by secondary meristem when the plant grows older. This secondary meristem cuts off dead cells without intercellular spaces on outer side, which becomes several layered thick, and it is called as cork or bark of a tree. They have deposition of suberin which resist gases and water loss. Now let's study about complex permanent tissues. Unlike simple permanent tissue, complex permanent tissue consists of more than one type of cells. Two types of complex tissues are there, xylem and phloem. Both are conducting tissues and therefore also known as vascular tissues. Together, both of them constitute vascular bundles. Xylem. It helps in conduction of water and minerals in upward direction only, as root absorb water and then it reaches up to leaves. Phloem helps in conduction of food in both direction, that is, prepared food in leaves is going to be transported to all other plant parts. Look at the xylem now. It consists of 4 types of cells: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Except xylem parenchyma, all other xylem elements are dead and bounded by lignified walls. Tracheids and vessels both are tubular structures which help in transport of water and minerals vertically. We will discuss the structure of these two in next slide. Next is xylem parenchyma, which is same as you have read parenchyma in simple permanent tissue. It is living and helps in storage of food and lateral conduction of water. Xylem fibers are mainly supportive in function because of the deposition of substance lignin. As we said that tracheids and vessels are tubular structures, but the difference lies in the two. Vessels are shorter and wider than tracheids. Vessels are very long tube-like structures formed by a row of cells placed end to end, while tracheids are elongated cells with tapering ends. They do not have open ends, so the water passes from one cell to another via the pits. Next, we are going to look at phloem. Phloem consists of 4 types of cells: sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Except phloem fibers, all the phloem elements are living. Look at the sieve tube first. Sieve tubes are slender, tube-like and composed of elongated, thin-walled cells placed end to end. Their end walls have many pores and are called sieve plates. Nucleus degenerates at maturity in sieve tubes. Next is companion cells. Sieve tube is associated with a small, thin-walled cell containing dense cytoplasm and large nucleus. It is called companion cell. Phloem parenchyma, they are thin-walled living cells and their function is storage and lateral conduction of food. Lastly, phloem fibers. Phloem fibers are thick-walled, elongated, spindle-shaped dead cells. They possess narrow lumen because of the deposition of lignin. The function of phloem fibers is same as xylem fibers, that is, to provide mechanical strength. That's all for plant tissues. Thank you.